without a voice. Let's go. Oh, okay. Explicit content, disturbing scenes. Okay. When cold, cruel destiny has thee within her grasp, thou may endeavor bravely, whatever, dear, to change thy path. But fate cares not which twisted road you choose to take. You dance atop her palm with every choice you make. Day 1. It was a morning like any other. The tragedy soon to unfold would affect so few people that time would swiftly forget it. For those involved, however, that morning was a maelstrom drawing them each in closer and closer still. It all began innocently enough with a certain exiled princess in a terrible pandemic. Did I say that correctly? I don't know. Ah, oh dear, I've run out of firewood. If only I'd noticed yesterday. This has caught me quite unawares. The exiled princess is in question was named Cassadia, and she was the eldest child of the kingdom of Vermeer. What's that you say? You've never heard of Vermeer? One shouldn't be surprised. This all happened long before the universe summoned you into existence. The next shipment is due for a little while. Is it due? But I cannot wait. I won't be able to cook or do laundry without a fire. So long had the princess had been living in this cottage alone that she'd taken talking to herself. I was just sleepy, Josh. Alright. Just to feel less lonely. Determined to gather some wood. I was gonna say firewood. Before sundown, Cassadidi, whatever, I'm calling her Cassadia now, grabbed a hatchet and some linen, and then quitted the place? What? Okay. Once outside, she paused, considering for the pertinent time whether it would be the best for her to lock the door. No one will come in. Anyway, my brother's agents never enter, and no one travels this deep into the woods. Convincing herself so, Cassadia turned away and headed into the forest to begin her mission. Unfortunately, her determination and willpower were short-lived. As I thought, firewood isn't just lying on the ground, just waiting to be picked up. Though she'd brought the hatchet, she'd foolishly hoped she wouldn't have to use it. Faced with so many different types of trees, most of them quite large, she was unsure how to proceed. Now that I think about it, how much firewood do I usually use at once? Oh, the more I try to remember, the more adult I get. Perhaps I'll just substitute on fruits and fungus until the next crate arrives. A timely stomach growl quickly put a stop to such plans. Cassadilla let out a sigh. For now then, I shall return to my favorite place. It always brings me peace. That place holds some magic I've always felt. I'm sure I shall be able to think of something once I'm there. Her spirit restored, Cassadilla lifted her linen satchel and a little higher? Lifted? You mean lifted? It was not long until she would be comfortable again, she thought. Why, you're as radiant as ever. There are many views to take pleasure in this forest, but this one in particular brought her delight. Though she had lived here now for some seasons, the tree before her seemed to never change. I don't know much about wisteria, but they meant to stay in bloom year-round. Are they meant? Sorry. Perhaps the winters here are mild? Wisteria shall wither not when flakes of winter fall. Yet all must someday perish while heeding nature's call. Heeding. It's hard to read without my glasses. But nature wields not power over us all. A clear wind-chime voice caught Cassadilla's attention. Cassadilla's heart stuck in her throat as she followed the sound and caught a sight of a woman sitting there. She had never before seen a woman so breathtakingly beautiful. My apologies for interrupting your poem, madam. It was only a couplet. You did not interrupt so much as improve it. Oh? Then all the better. But it is not safe to be so deep in the woods. Tarry not. I live here. It is quite safe, I assure you. I dare say I have lived here much longer than you have. No harm has ever come to me in these woods. Perhaps our experience merely differ. Certainly, I concede your point. Cassadilla paused a long while, unsure of how to carry on the conversation. How strange. I used to make small talk with all the courtiers as if it were nothing. Has time truly affected me so? You say you live here? I do. I have never seen you. I'm quite sure of it. I would remember someone like you. Whereabout do you live, if you don't mind me asking? Hardly a stone's throw from where we now stand. A stone's throw? How can that be? That is highly suspect. You mean suspicious? I suppose she does not wish to expose where she lives to an utter stranger. That is reasonable. She seems to be quite on her guard. I envy your view of this lovely place. Do not envy me. What could that mean? How droll. Oh, where are my manners? My name is Casadilla. I too live nearby. You may call me Elowin. Elowin? What a lovely name. Besides, I was already aware that you live nearby. What? How? I have seen you before, albeit from a distance. You come here often. Oh dear, I must have been making a complete fool of myself. I am sorry that you've had to witness that. Casadilla thought back to all the complaining she'd done under this tree, and all the time she sullied herself trying to gather fruit. There were many other truly mortifying memories. She stared at the ground in shame. When she looked up, however, Elowin was smiling. Casadilla felt her tension wane. So what brings you back to this place? I wanted to calm myself. Calm yourself? For what? What could possibly cause you distress? What a sour tone. Does she think I just daydream and laze about all day? Many things. I'll have you know that at this very minute, I am on a mission that might mean the difference between life and death. Oh, and yet you dally here. What could this mission involve, Parte? Pray tell. I tried, okay. I tried. I see my presence is not wanted here. I shall return to my search forthwith. Just as she was about to turn away and leave, Elowin and the Wistera tree behind, Casadilla heard Elowin laugh softly. It was a bewitching sound. I see I have offended milady. No offense was meant, I can assure. Really? Truly. I would never wish to cause you pain. Tell me of your mission. I have run out of firewood. Upon hearing this, Elowin stood up and dusted herself off. Allow me to be of service. Oh no! You couldn't possibly Please, this tree suffers so much every time you shed your tears and frustration upon it. Yet despite her abrasive words, Elowin was tirelessly helpful. It was she who taught Casadilla to gather smaller bits of kindle, and to use the hatchet when that proved inefficient. If you wrap this smaller branch together, they shall burn just fine. Oh, I see. I am certainly glad not to have to chop down a whole tree. I was worried about that. Yes. Once felled, a tree can never rise again. Take of their fruit, their branches, but spare them their roots and lifeblood. Lifeblood? Do trees have blood? This forest is quite old, you know. I wish it would stay forever this way, but man has trouble leaving things be. The disparity between Elowen's indifferent expression and the biting tone of her voice made Cassadia's heart ache. She must have had a bad experience. She must love the trees. We humans are meddlesome things, aren't we? Perhaps I am making too light of her feelings. I thought that was rather an intelligent thing to say. You truly love this forest. Yes, in fact I feel that I am part of it, and it is part of me. How beautiful. The two continued through the forest, gathering wood and passing the time with easy conversation. As they walked leisurely, the sun began to sink. So too did the satchel of wood over Cassadia's shoulder sag. It seems that you've gathered plenty of wood now. Surely that will be enough? Ah, you're right! The time had quite gotten away from the exiled princess. Now that their afternoon together was coming to an end, Cassadia was afraid. Afraid and hopeful, which was perhaps more dangerous still. Then, excuse me, Miss Elowen? Yes? Might I... That is, might we meet again? You've no idea how happy I am to meet another person living in this wood. And a woman at that. Yet the expression on Elowen's face showed that she had, in fact, some idea. I was about to suggest the same. You might find me in this area most afternoons. I see. Then, until tomorrow. What? Would we meet that so soon, my lady? With that, Elowen bowed and left. Her steps make almost no sound. What a graceful woman. Not just beautiful, but elegant and smart. As she walked back to her cottage, so filled with thoughts of Elowen in her head. Oh, okay. That Cassadia forgot all about her Fagu and the weight of her burden. She certainly is opinionated. But she must have so much more experience living in independently than I. I hope I am not a bother to her. And with the once princess returned home, blissfully unaware of the roots that were this very moment grabbing hold of her heels and pulling her beneath. It is said of fools repeat his days, changing not, but expecting change. I post this men are by routine hogdated. They expect not, and are by not satisfied. Day 2. There is a sort of melancholy one feels when closing a book for the final time, feeling its last words wash over you as you leave its world and return to your own life. It was an ennui that Cassiodia had grown used to. In her former life she had received the best education that money and bribery might buy. Now that bright mind was left to languish, fed by nothing more than a single new book each fortnight. By now Cassiodia was in the habit of reading very slowly indeed. She shut her last tome and placed it upon the table next to her half-written letter to her brother. I never sound quite myself in these letters. How do you write from a distance to one whom you once saw daily? And how do you write anything at all when your life has grown so dull? She decided to pen a few more sentences on how moved she felt after reading the book, and how profoundly distressed she was by the ending of it. Family is important, but so, too, is recognizing the value of what you have before it is too late. If only the king had realized that a wonderful daughter he had. What a wonderful daughter he had. And I hope you realize how much you are loved by me. You're my one and only sister. She paused, overcome by sheer feeling, and decided to keep the final bit to herself. It was too desperate for comfort, and princesses did not wing so. No, that wouldn't do at all. How unbecoming. With a sigh, Cassiodia stared at the crackling fire. She had more than enough firewood now to last until her next shipment of it. The sight reminded her of Adolin. I wonder what Adolin is doing at this very moment. She could not fathom the day-to-day life of such a mysterious personage was utterly beyond her imagination. Her curiosity so engaged, it was now impossible to ignore, and so, the fair Casadea resolved herself to take a walk and casually seek the other woman out. Perhaps I'll even stumble across where she lives today. Wouldn't it be exciting to surprise her at her home? Thinking nothing at all of how inconvenient, how overly forward and impudent it might be, she departed immediately. Once out, Casadea took in a beautiful lungful of crisp forest air. How lovely it is today, hardly a cloud in the sky. She took measured steps into the forest, constantly scanning the area around her, on the lookout for the elusive domicile. Might other one live in a cottage like mine? She is so elegant I cannot imagine her doing housework. Once again, I could hardly imagine myself doing housework not too long ago. Oh, how times change a person. Casadea reached her beloved weathering tree before long, and eagerly drank in the sight of it. She ran up to the tree and encircled it with her arms, as if in meeting to embrace it. Hello, dear tree. You are looking as lovely as ever today, though a certain someone sits not beneath you brought this afternoon. Or was it doubt? She leaned to one side, then another, looking around the tree and into the forest to see if she might spot a window or a bellowing of chimney smoke. Sadly, she could make out only more trees. I can't suppose that Evelyn lives in a tree house, does she? Certainly not. Oh! Startled, Casadea jumped, her foot catching unhappily on one of the tree's roots, sending her fairly forward. Careful! Evelyn's arms shot out at once, her vice-like grip snaring the once princess just in time. Evelyn's touch was so cold, yet her movements decisive. Casadea's heart raced. Oh! Do we have a ship coming? Was she truly worried for me? It took Casadea several moments to regain her composure. Evelyn, too, looked a bit shaken. Thank goodness you arrived when you did. Though, truth be told, if you hadn't startled me so, I would not have fallen. Is that so? I shall endeavor to be less frightening in the future, then. Oh dear, she may have mistaken my meaning. I was only trying to cover up my embarrassment. Perhaps Evelyn is joking? That is not necessary. I don't understand what you mean. I certainly don't think you're frightening. Oh? Your earlier words seem to suggest otherwise. I was merely... Oh, never mind. How confusing you are. Still, how curious it is for us to be meeting here again. You come here often. I live nearby. What is curious about it? I'm merely saying that it's serendipitous. It must be fate. Fate has nothing to do with it, I assure you. Oh, but it's so much more romantic to think of it as fate. Yes. I can think of nothing less romantic than fate. Perhaps this is something not yet possible for you to understand. Don't speak as though you're much older and wiser than me. Edwin laughed a little. How old are you, anyway? How old do you think? Cassiopeia stared at Edelwyn, gazing deeply into her eyes, as if she might find the other woman's secret lair. Older than I first thought, perhaps? A wise answer. Edelwyn tipped her head slightly, the motion seemingly to indicate a desire to walk on. Cassiopeia was only too happy to comply. Together the two women... Wait. Yeah, together the two women strolled. Their time together was marked by companionable silence. Cassiopeia never before, a quiet girl, was desperate to feel it, but the conversation meant piqued Edelwyn's interest was unclear. She peered shyly at Edelwyn's face in profile, so striking and noble did it seem. She has the air of an aristocrat. What could someone like she be doing living in the forest? Then again, am I not the same position? Perhaps it's something she finds difficult to speak of. An icy gust of wind whistled through the clearing, causing Cassiopeia to shiver and rub her bare arms. The sun will be setting soon, and it will grow colder. Perhaps you should... It was then that the question Cassiopeia had been ruminating on over all afternoon pressed forward. Would you like to come to my cottage? Edelwyn appeared quite overwhelmed. Is that wise? Whatever do you mean? How can you extend such an invitation to a person such as me, whom you hardly know? You are entirely too trusting. I'm surprised at you. Two solitary women ought to strike together out in these wilds. Besides, who else have I to invite? That is, I sometimes feel quite lonely out here. Don't you? Edelwyn turned her head slightly and gazed into the forest behind them, as if peering out something only she could see. Loneliness, then, I see. Very well, I would take you up on your offer. Though puzzled by Edelwyn's hesitation, Cassiopeia was overjoyed that her invitation had been accepted. There was a spring in her step as she led the other woman to her home. It was only in front of the cottage that Cassiopeia suddenly understood what an impetuous thing it was that she was doing. Is the house clean enough? She could not seem to recall when she had last swept or aired out her bedding. Is this where you live? Yes. It's charming. Thank you. I wish I could take more credit for that. The house was here long before I arrived. Even the furniture is not truly my own. Still, it suits you. Thank you. Bolstered by Alwyn's reaction, Cassadia finally gained the courage to follow through. She opened the door wide, gesturing to the other woman to enter. As the other one did so, with her usual slow, measured steps, Cassadia could not help but notice the other woman's feet, clearly visible in the slippers she wore. Her toes are curled. How odd. They stayed that way even as Alwyn entered the house. Perhaps her manner of walking is not purely for the sake of elegance, but also necessity. Had Alwyn some sort of pain in her feet? Cassadia pondered on this and resolved to ask about it when the opportunity arose. It is quite spacious. You live here alone? That's right. It's not so bad. I don't have anyone to tell me what to do or where to go. I have a freedom now that I'd never known before. Perhaps, but sometimes I believe that being tied down to something is easier. If you don't realize you're being strangled, it's just a pleasant, light-headed feeling. I don't really understand. It's alright if you don't. Alwyn walked slowly from one part of the room to the next, her fingertips ghosting over every surface. She looked to be seeking the essence of each object, taking in every minute, flaw and deciphered its true nature, deciphering. Cassadia wondered what Alwyn might discover about her if only she allowed it, if only she dared. It was bearably quiet. Just then, Alwyn came across the book Cassadia had finished reading. Oh, that's a book my brother sent to me. I get so frightfully bored here, so these books have become my sanctuary. I'm expecting a new shipment soon. Your brother? Alwyn was silent for a time, digesting the new information. And then her gaze fell on the half-finished letter haphazardly placed next to the book. Cassadia followed her gaze, her eyes wide. She leaped forward and snatched the letter away. How much had the other woman seen? She colored in mortification. Your brother is far away from here. Yes. It is beautiful, the place where you once both lived. Is it beautiful? I have not once seen it equally more beautiful than this cottage prison of yours? Cassadia could not hide her surprise at Alwyn's poisonous choice of words, nor could she hide her sudden tears. Excuse me? It's not like that. She dried her eyes delicately, but with determination. Now was not the time for tears. complicated. It is not as clear-cut as you seem to believe. Undoubtedly, the affairs of men oft are. However, all that I need to know is that he is there and you are here. That he is responsible for that difference can be interfered quite easily. You are a fast reader to be able to jump to such conclusions so swiftly. I am not unhappy here, Alduin. Can you say that truly, with an unclouded heart? Alduin peered into Cassadia's eyes, and their gazes held like two magnets pulling each other in closer and closer still. Yet Cassadia could not do it. She could not look Alduin in the eyes and tell an untruth. Alduin looked to the window. It has gotten dark. Oh my! How rude of me! I have not offered you tea or any refreshments. Do not trouble yourself on my account. I must away. I did not mean to impose for so long. You are hardly imposing. You are kind and good. Cassadia's face lit up. Kind and good things do not survive long in a world such as ours. And just as quickly as it had come, the sudden rush of delight left her face. Bowing her head, the other woman was out the door and gone, leaving hurt and confusion in her wake. When she looked out the window to glimpse the same view that Alduin had just beheld, what Cassadia saw before her was but a bleak uncertainty. Without wisdom or experience, storm shall still wither be, ill wither. But when you are nearby, dear one, no storm can bother me. Day 3. How do I save? I want to save this. Yes. Yes. Save it. Right there. Okay. That's all we're gonna do for now. I'll come back later. Just wait for me to exit the game. Okay. But yeah, that's all for now. Hope you enjoyed.